social injustice, poverty, healthcare inequality, and quiet resistance in the United States, while delving more deeply into character, history, and setting in Oak Ridge by Echoes of Crime. Before sunrise, at 4:37 a.m., Malik Thompson zipped his hoodie and slipped out into the bitter cold of Oak Ridge, careful not to wake his daughter Samira, who was wheezing softly in her sleep. Their apartment, like most in the building, had unreliable heat and cracked windows. Malik had stuffed an old sweatshirt under her pillow to help her breathe upright. Her inhaler was nearly empty. He walked briskly past darkened storefronts and rusted fences, the silence broken only by the crunch of his sneakers on frosted pavement. His destination was the East Side Free Health Clinic, the only place left after two others in the area had closed. The line had already formed. A half dozen people stood wrapped in coats and blankets, clutching thermoses in hope. Malik took his place behind Rosa Delgado, a grandmother raising her grandsons alone. Behind him stood Daryl, a weathered Army vet with a limp and a persistent cough. They nodded. No need for words. They saw each other here often. This was what healthcare looked like for them. Cold mornings, long waits, and uncertainty. The cutoff. By 7 a.m., the line stretched down the block. A nurse emerged with a clipboard. Her eyes were tired. "We'll see the first 30 today," she announced. Malik counted. He was 32. He stepped out of the line. No protest, just quiet disappointment. At the bus stop, he checked his phone. A message from his boss at Full Grove Foods, the distribution warehouse where he worked. "Don't be late again. Last warning." He sighed. No benefits, no sick leave, no leniency. He'd already missed shifts taking Samira to the ER. If he missed a day, he'd lose the job. But without her medication, she could end up in the hospital again. If they were lucky enough to make it there in time. The bus arrived late. Malik sat near the back, rubbing his cold hands and thinking about how little room there was in his life for mistakes. Ghosts of Oak Ridge. Malik had lived in Oak Ridge his whole life. It wasn't always like this. His parents had once owned a small home near Ashland Avenue. His mother a factory worker, his father a mechanic. They were proud, stable. But when the plant closed and the economy shifted, everything fell apart. His father died of a heart attack, uninsured. His mother of untreated cancer. Malik dropped out of college to survive. Now, years later, he was still waiting in lines, still patching together hours, still fighting for basics like medicine for his daughter. A spark. That night, Samira's wheezing got worse. Malik stayed by her side, terrified to sleep. He took a photo of her inhaler, empty, and posted it with a message. "My daughter can't breathe. I stood in line for hours today and got turned away. What now?" The post spread. People shared it, commented. A reporter reached out. Then Tasha Ellison, director of a nonprofit called Justice Link, messaged him. "We're organizing for healthcare access. Want to help?" Malik didn't hesitate. The pushback. Tasha brought flyers, clipboards, and energy. Malik brought truth. They knocked on doors, hosted meetings, and held a rally outside the clinic. Rosa and Daryl came. So did dozens of others. Soon, a front-page story ran in the Atlanta Sentinel. The line at Oak Ridge, a neighborhood left behind. A GoFundMe raised $85,000 in days for the clinic. But Malik wanted more than charity. He wanted justice. He and Tasha pushed for legislation, reopening closed clinics, mobile healthcare units, paid sick leave for hourly workers. They testified at City Hall. They were mocked, ignored, but they kept showing up. At one hearing, a councilwoman dismissed them, saying people needed to take personal responsibility. Malik stood up. "I work full-time. I wait in lines. I stretch every dollar. If this system is fair, why is my daughter choking while skyscrapers go up next door?" Silence followed. The shift, progress came slowly, but eventually, a mobile health van began weekly visits to Oak Ridge. The city agreed to fund reopening the South Side Clinic, paid sick leave legislation, advanced in committee. Malik was hired as an organizer with Justice Link. He trained others. He spoke at schools, churches, community halls. He hadn't planned on becoming an activist, but the system had given him no choice. 2 years later, Samira was 7 now. Her health had improved. She loved her new doctor and said she wanted to be one someday. Malik stood at a podium in Oak Ridge Park during a health equity rally, looking out at a crowd of neighbors, nurses, and allies. Samira sat in the front row with a hand-painted sign, "My daddy helps people breathe." He cleared his throat. 2 years ago, I was number 32 in a line that only went to 30. That day, I thought we were invisible. But we weren't. We were just unheard. This city tells us justice is blind. But justice sees color. It sees class. It sees zip code. It just chooses to look away. But we're not waiting anymore. Not in lines. Not in silence. The crowd clapped. Some cried. Tasha raised her fist. Rosa smiled. Daryl nodded. Malik stepped down from the podium, hugged his daughter, and looked up at the sky. It was a new day, still cold, but warmer than it had been. Subscribe for more interesting stories from Echoes of Crime.